Hello, it's Kendra, and here at Hooked by Happenstance, it is time for another episode of Freak or Frog. Freak or Frog is my series where I go through that scary drawer of whips, projects I've started and have just let languish far too long for who knows what reason, and I decide, based on each project, whether I'm going to freak out about it, take it out of hibernation, and get it on my on the hook list, or whether I'm going to frog it and reclaim that yarn, put it back in stash so that the good yarn can join a better project, because good yarn does not belong in bad projects. So let's see what we're going to freak or frog about today. Oh, which one should we pick? Let's see. I'm going to feel around because some of these might have, let's try this one. This might have some things I could use in it. Let's see what's in the yellow bag. These appear to be pieces of things for sale. Clearly pieces of things that I chose not to deal with. These are roses that just need stems added. Those I could keep. Actually, I'm going to put these aside. I might use these on a wreath, because I have some ideas for some wreaths I'd like to work on. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these up on my shelf for now and consider them done but not finished products. So I'm trying to remember what the deal was with why this is here. Something went wrong in the process. I think it might not have fit the shirt that I had made for it, and I made the shirt out of the last of the color that I had. Or like, they wanted a red shirt and I used all my red yarn, and it was just quicker to remake the body at that point because it was a custom order for Christmas that I just put this away. So I'm going to frog that as well. These are also from a custom order. I made a turtle for somebody and I made up the pattern myself. So these are just extra pieces I had that I didn't end up using. I will go ahead and frog those. These are parts to a crochet tea set, or like a teapot and stuff. I was going to make for a Mother's Day craft show I was doing, but I didn't end up liking the way it turned out, and as you can see, I've never finished it. They were all just shoved inside the pink thing, so I'm going to go ahead and frog that. These were the beginnings of legs for overalls, for dolls, but I think these are from my old pattern too, so I'm just going to go ahead and frog those. I have zero clue what these little yellow bits are, so they're going to get frogged. These little curly cues, I feel like this is a pattern off of like Red Heart or something. It's like a little, it's supposed to go on like your hair. And I made it, I think, just to test out how they did their little curly cue and whether I thought they'd be something sellable. And I don't like them. So I'm going to go ahead and frog that too. Things that I'm going to keep for the time being, in addition to that little blanket piece from the beginning. This is a pair of overalls that would go on like my overall dolls. I'm not sure if this is based on the old pattern or the new pattern. It looks like it might be somewhere in between. So I will test and see if this fits on the new doll size that I make. If it does, I will use them. If not, I will frog them and make them into a different outfit or for another doll. Same thing with these doll dresses. I don't know whether these fit the old. I mean, these were made to go on the old dolls, but I don't know if they will fit what I'm currently making or not. So I will test that out. If not, they will get frogged as well. So here are the results. There's this, which was the beginning of like a baby blanket, and I'm not going to continue this particular blanket, but I'm thinking that I might be able to do something with this piece as is, like maybe add a little something to make it like a lovey, or maybe add to the bottom, use it as the skirt for something. So I'm going to keep this as something to play with and add on to. These are doll parts, and these are using the doll pattern that I basically have based my doll pattern off of. I've taken a doll pattern called BB Dolls, and I've tweaked the numbers to get my standard doll pattern that I use for sale. But these are using the like actual numbers, and they end up with these really spindly limbs, and I don't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and frog these. These clearly, I made these dolls for a craft show 3 years ago would be when I made those. And after much frogging, here is the end result. So I went ahead and I tried those overalls and the dresses on the dolls, and they didn't fit, so I went ahead and frogged those. I frogged all the things I told you I was going to frog, and then I also frogged the Bernat Baby Sport that had been in that little bit of a blanket. I thought I could maybe turn to a lovey or something, but when I was messing around with it, I didn't like it, so I just pulled it out. I did decide to keep these green circles, which had been from the turtles. I have 4 of them, so I think I'm going to put them, like, do some sort of like embroidery or something and put them together and make Christmas ornaments. Or I might even just add an outside round to the 4 of them and do something Christmassy with those. So this is everything, and I will go ahead and put all of these into my box for my scrap stash blanket. I have already put all the yarn that I currently have in that into the blanket, so this will give me a good new starting point. I hope that was inspirational for some of you. Sometimes, you know, there's just things that we put aside thinking, oh, I'll make something with this later. Ooh, I'll finish this little project. And the reality is, sometimes you will, but a lot of times you just won't. And so I'm looking forward to adding these things to my scrap stash blanket in the way that I think doing a scrap blanket is really beneficial when you're using actual scraps of yours. Those scraps have memories for me of when I first started making and selling dolls, and a nice way to look at the progression I've made from starting to where I'm at now. So I hope you all enjoyed this. On your screen you'll see a link to other Freaker Frogs in case you have missed those, as well as a link to my Etsy shop if you'd like to see my handmade project bags and some of my crocheted creations so you can see where I've come to. I'll see you all next time. Bye!